Welcome to Talk to the Experts. Today we talk to insurance experts. It's Greg Morgan here with Dave Arnold from Campbell and Haliburton Insurance. Our theme today, travel insurance. Dave, how are you, man?
Not bad. Yourself? Good to see you
well.
again.
I'm well. Nice to have you here in the studio again. We've got a lot of ground to cover today, but I think this is going to be fun. We asked through the Campbell and Haliburton Insurance Facebook page if users had any questions about travel insurance. Heck, I've got my own questions for you, Dave. I'll save to the end here, but you ready? I think we're going to be busy the next half hour.
Okay, well, let's take them, see how they go.
All right, here we go. And don't forget, too, there's a ton of information at mych.ca right now, as a matter of fact, in any given day. But this one comes from Heather G, Dave. Our first one, is your home insured when you are traveling?
Okay, and that would fall under the home insurance portion of the program, but the answer is yes. But you need to take some precautions if you're going for one of those sunny vacations. Let's put it that way.
How so?
Here's the challenge. You have coverage for something called water escape in your home policy. So pipe bursts, dishwasher hose breaks, something like that. If you're going to be gone for an extended period of time during the regular heating season, you need to take precautions to keep that coverage. And they say regular heating season. They don't say winter.
Right.
Because winter starts December 21st, and we have our furnaces on way before December 21st. They're afraid that what's going to happen is you're going to take off for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and the furnace is going to stop working day after you leave. Pipes are going to freeze and burst, and it's going to be an ugly mess. And it's different for every insurance company. So check with your broker, check with your agent. Some companies say if you're gone more than 10 consecutive days during the regular heating season, some say more than 4 consecutive days. So it's a little bit different.
You mean we should ensure that someone is going into our home and check?
That's one of the options because you've got kind of 3 precautions that you can take. The first, and if you're gone for, if you're a snowbird and you're gone for an extended period of time, this is probably the one to do. Turn off your main water line.
Yeah.
Shut off the main water line, drain all the lines, drain the hot water tank, drain the toilets, drain anything that holds water. And then you've still got that coverage. Your second option is if you have a centrally monitored alarm system with a cold temperature alarm. So that literally means the alarm company will be watching. Oh, wait, we've got an alarm here. Oh, cold temperature alarm. The furnace is shut down. And then they can reach out to you or reach out to someone you designate while you're gone, and they'll get someone in to fix that furnace to keep things from freezing up.
And is that something you save on if you have that kind of a system?
You do get a discount for alarm, for burglary and fire.
Okay.
Not so much for the cold temperature.
Okay, did I cover all 3 there?
No, there's one more to go.
One more. Which one was that?
This is the one that a lot of people choose. You arrange to have a responsible person check the home every day you're gone. And that's where it kind of comes from. And I mean, there's some common sense things. Get someone to shovel your walk. If you get flyers that build up, or mail, if you still one of the few that have home mail delivery, get it taken out of the way.
Okay, I think we got that one for Heather. Let's move on. Stephen M. said, are pre-existing medical conditions known or unknown covered?
The quick answer, a hard maybe.
Okay, Dr. Arnold, tell us why.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where it gets some kind of gray areas. I generally say don't assume that pre-existing conditions are covered, generally. But if it is a medical condition that has been stable for an extended period of time, there still may be a provision for coverage under the policy. If you're traveling against the advice of a doctor, no. I mean, obviously, that's a no. But, and this is one thing just really quickly with travel insurance. Travel insurance is kind of the catch-all phrase. It's a bundle of things. And in this case, we're talking about emergency medical is kind of what he's focusing on here, I would say, because you're talking about the medical condition.
Mm-hmm.
Your best bet, go in to see your agent or your broker during the regular weekday, so that if you've got some specific medical questions, your broker can reach out to the actual insurance company, have them on the phone, and go, here's the situation, here's the scenario, what is covered, what is not covered.
Don't assume. It's good to know before you go, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and just kind of going back, like I say, with the travel insurance, there's a whole bunch of different components. So it's not just one size fits all. You've got the medical, emergency medical, which is what most people are talking about when they talk about travel insurance. You've also got trip cancellation, trip interruption,
Mm-hmm.
and you've also got cancel for any reason options. You've got baggage insurance. You've got rental car protect. You've got so there's a ton of different options.
Yeah.
So
And so many people have credit cards and coverage there too. So it's good to know
yes.
what you get covered by your credit card and work in conjunction with what you have to offer at Campbell and Haliburton. I want to get to as many of these questions as I can. So, Stephen, I hope we got your answer there. And very similar medical question here from Jennifer J. What is covered in travel insurance should you fall ill and require hospitalization, prescriptions, and whatever else you need?
Okay, so this would be the emergency medical coverage again. And again, assuming it's not a potential pre-existing, potential gray area there, if you end up having to go see a doctor, hospitalization, prescriptions, potentially a traveling companion might have to come and do some help. You may have to get evacuated. Those are all components of the emergency medical coverage. A dental coverage, like you get smacked in the face at a baseball game where the netting isn't up and you get a foul ball on the face. There's potentially some coverage for dental as well. But there's also some things you have to keep in mind. There are exclusions. If you're down and you're really enjoying the beverages at the pool at the resort where you're staying and you slip on the deck because you've over enjoyed those beverages, you may not have coverage because you could be considered legally impaired in the jurisdiction you're in, whether it be alcohol, whether it be other substances.
Oh, man, Dave, do you know how many people do just that?
We've seen enough videos that have popped up on social media that
All right.
you got to be careful.
Okay. This one might be a little quick. We've got just a couple minutes here to get to this before I got to take a break. But J.Ann Magnus says, do I need extra car insurance when I travel to the U.S.? Extra car insurance
The
going to the
short
U.S.
answer, no. The correct answer, yes. When you travel, if you're traveling with your own vehicle, for example,
Yeah.
You've got your basic plate coverage,
Yeah.
which is going to be $700 deductible, but only $200,000 in liability. And the real challenge there is going to be that what happens if you're in a state, you're in an accident, and it's a tort state where people sue everybody. And we've seen the injury lawyer ads on TV and everything else. That's the risk, that you won't have enough coverage for liability. You're better off going in and seeing your insurance broker and seeing if there's an automobile extension that you can put on, a policy that you can put on top of the plates. Always a really good idea. Even if you're traveling into some other provinces. Not all provinces are no fault.
Yeah.
Some of them are still tort, which means lawyers get involved right off the hop. So it's always a good idea.
I don't think we've had a single question yet where you wouldn't want to know the answer before you go. And this one in particular, I often just call up you guys at Campbell and Haliburton, who I deal with all the time, and just say, hey, am I covered for this when I go stateside? It's good to have a conversation because that's what you can do, right, Dave?
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
call you.
Absolutely.
You know my account. You know my file. You'd help us out that way, wouldn't you?
No, more than happy to anytime.
All right. So you're listening to Talk to the Experts. Today, we're talking to the insurance experts. I'm Greg Morgan. He's Dave Arnold from Campbell and Haliburton. We're going to be back with more of your questions about travel insurance. Welcome back to Talk to the Experts. Today, it's all about the insurance experts, and he is one. He is Dave Arnold from Campbell and Haliburton Insurance. And Dave, I've got some great info already from you regarding travel insurance. And we opened up the Campbell and Haliburton Facebook page and said, got any questions about travel? Dave's got your answers. So let's return to some of these questions here. First
isn't it nice that we're traveling again?
I know.
I just want to say.
And honestly, there's so many destinations to go to. Direct flights again in Regina.
Yes.
You're right about that. A lot of people I know are leaving. Barbara C. said, is my car covered, parked in my garage with the yearly package policy without being licensed while I'm away for 6 months? Oh, Dave.
So if you've got, congratulations on being away for 6 months. But if you've got an auto extension policy, there's going to be some coverage. That's the policy that you add on over and above on top of the plates. Now, if you keep the plates active while you're gone, not everyone does. But if you keep your plates active and you don't have one of those extension policies, you still get coverage from the basic plates, which is $700 deductible, $200,000 liability, so on and so on. So with that extension policy, though, even if the plates are not active, there's a provision for coverage potentially. You talk to your broker, talk to your agent, make sure the policy is set up correctly. Depending on the circumstances, you may need to have what they call a declared value for the vehicle, depending on those circumstances. But if you do not have active plates on that vehicle, if that vehicle is parked in your garage, if you don't have an auto extension policy on that either, that car is not insured. It's
Okay.
not covered under your home insurance just because it's parked in your garage. It is not insured.
Good to know. All right, let's go to Leanne Marie Robinson, who asks, how much is enough travel insurance for a foreign country trip? And what is actually covered in the insurance? In summary, what do you think?
Here's the thing, and I'm assuming we're talking the medical emergency portion of the travel insurance. It depends. If you can tell me exactly what's going to happen to you while you're gone, I can give you a ballpark suggestion. Get as much as you can. Typically, you see them around $5 million for the policy because it's going to be a huge difference. I mean, if you break your finger in a hotel door, okay, you might need to go to the doctor. You might need to get some pain pills or something like that, and they'll just tape it up and you're off on your way you go. What happens if you're in a car accident? You know, you end up in ICU, all those things. You need to be medically evacuated. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Like I say, generally, though, you get about that $5 million coverage. And if you are going to be doing some unusual activities, like if you're going to be engaged in sports, if you're going to be doing extreme, what they consider extreme activities, you know, whether that be surfing, whether that be scuba diving, whether that be, let your insurance broker know you may need to add that onto the policy because it's higher risk activities rather than just kind of, you know, lounging around by the pool at the resort and reading a book.
Today we're talking about travel insurance with Dave Arnold from Campbell and Haliburton Insurance. Dave, it really does sound like before you travel anymore, you really have to be smart about this. And it's worth a call. Maybe make an appointment really quick just to see how much coverage you have, not only for where you're going, but for your home too while you're gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're traveling to another province, what happens if you're in another province?
Good point.
All of a sudden you're stuck, you're stranded. You need to get someone to come and get you. What happens to the dog while you're gone? Who takes care of that? It's always something to consider out of province.
Trina Helfrich is asking this next question. Trina wants to know, do you have to purchase travel insurance within a certain amount of time of booking your trip?
For the emergency medical portion, as long as you're still in the province of Saskatchewan, you can do that. If you've got electronic signing, you could literally be in the airport and we can put it together. It's better if you come into the office, trust me, just because we can answer more details. For the cancellation, trip interruption, you may have to purchase that within a certain time of either buying your ticket or sometime before you actually leave, because there's going to be some restrictions in terms of how far ahead you either need to obtain it or you can actually use it.
Victoria wants to know, can different travel insurance be layered together, such as coverage through a work plan and coverage through a bank? And how would one know if more coverage is required between the two?
Again, the magic question, and I'm going to go with the medical insurance, the medical emergency again. Yeah, it can be layered. You're going to see some, and we have this happen, where some people will have coverage either through their work or through some other secondary source, and then they'll kind of top things up because it's not quite enough. The key is due diligence. You have to do your due diligence on your own part. I mean, you might have it through work. Well, does that cover just you if you travel? Does that cover you and your spouse? Does it cover you, the spouse, and the kids? What if the kids are older and not dependent anymore? Are they still under that? So you need to really do a bit of a dive into the weeds and then talk to your broker. Talk to your broker, say, okay, what's involved, what's not. If you have a claim, the insurance companies figure out which policy responds first, and then if it's used up, which is second, and so on and so on.
Okay, look, we are nearing the end of our time here, so I'm going to kind of jump around. Lisa A. has a good question. about travel insurance covering your delayed or canceled flights, which is a biggie these days. Does travel insurance cover your delayed or canceled flights? If yes, what is covered on that?
Well, trip cancellation, trip insurance, trip interruption, rather, that gives you coverage if you need to cancel or change the trip, either before with cancellation or after. But it's not necessarily always going to be covered. It's not going to cover some routine delays, for example, and it will actually give you the portions that can't be refunded. So it covers non-refundable expenses up to the amount you purchase.
Hmm.
It's not just if you have it, it covers everything. No, how much coverage do you need? What is that dollar value? Trip interruption, a little less expensive than the trip cancellation and interruption combined when you put it together, because you're already kind of on your trip.
Yeah.
So it's out-of-pocket expenses, unexpected hotel, transportation, meals, those types of things.
What about luggage?
That's an add-on. You can get it, but it is actually an add-on where you get baggage insurance.
Okay.
So you can add that onto the policy. It's not super expensive at all. And make sure, if you want that, though, get it added on.
Shanna was asking about hearing that insurance through your credit card when booking travel covers more than the additional travel insurance added on at the time of booking. And she wonders if that's true. Maybe a little to that answer. But also, I just want to, I'm now, the more I listen to you, Dave, I think I have to get the information that my credit card covers and bring it to you and work in combination, don't I?
That's the key. And again, it's the due diligence with the credit card. Some credit cards actually have pretty decent insurance coverage.
Yeah.
Some, it's lousy. And you need to know exactly what they cover and what they don't. People use credit cards a lot of times when they travel and they're doing a rental vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go, oh, no, it's covered under my credit card when I use my credit card.
Yeah.
Well, what exactly is covered?
Yeah.
Are they covering everything that you need to worry about? One that doesn't get covered sometimes is something called downtime
Yeah.
with a rental. So if you're involved in an accident, the vehicle can't be rented out to someone else because it's being repaired. You may still be charged by the rental company for downtime, the time that it can't be insured. Does the credit card cover that? If you have an auto extension policy, that one that layers over top of the plates, that extends to the rental. And if you have loss of use coverage on that policy, that would be considered covering for the downtime.
That's a good one. I ran into that situation with some friends a few years back, and I check that out each and every time. Dave, that's all the time we have for questions. Before I wrap up, though, I have to know who has won a gift card here.
Well, it looks like congratulations going out to Trina. Trina H. Trina asked the question about purchasing travel insurance within a certain amount of time of booking your trip. So we've got something nice on the way for her.
Okay, we'll be in touch. You're listening to Talk to the Experts. Thank you again, Dave Arnold. I appreciate your time. From Campbell Haliburton Insurance. Today, travel insurance. If we missed your question, if you have more that you'd like to know, contact them and visit mych.ca.